Now at 6 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, a fire chief reported dead from the wildfire in the Texas Panhandle, the heroic act that claimed his life this evening.
Today is election day in the Crossroads. This afternoon we go over the top races.
And a district attorney in Harris County experiences issues at the polls, what she has to say this evening.
Well, it was toasty today. We got up to 89 degrees once the sun poked through the fog. We're going to do that again tomorrow, and yep, we're going to still be in the 80s, but there's hope for the weekend. We'll talk about that coming up in a moment.
And one local boxing club showing out at the South Texas Showdown. I'll have that in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia. It's primary election day across the nation. Voters in 15 states head to the polls to choose their Republican and Democratic nominees to face off in November. Now, 4 people are running for the state representative District 30 seat in our area. This comes after former state representative Jeannie Morrison announced she is not seeking re-election on the ballot. Former VISD board member Brett Baldwin, former mayor of Victoria Jeff Bouknight, Vanessa Hicks Callaway, and former Jackson County Sheriff A.J. Louderback. The winner of this race will face Democrat Stephanie Basham in November. And covering this race for District 30 is 25 News Now weekend anchor Adam Seibel.
He's live at the Dr. Patty Dotson Public Health Center. That's one of 26 polling sites open until 7 p.m. tonight. And Adam, take it.
Voters still have time to cast a ballot on this Super Tuesday election with just about an hour left until polls close at 7 p.m. Some of the candidates and their supporters out here in the parking lot at the Dr. Patty Dotson Public Health Center encouraging the community to come out and vote. We were out here earlier today and there were long lines to vote, a great sight to see for everyone who wants to see more people to get out and cast a ballot. One of the big races we're watching tonight is the District 30 seat with 4 candidates: Jeff Bouknight, A.J. Louderback, Vanessa Hicks Callaway, and Brett Baldwin. UHV political professor Woodrow Wilson Wagner II says this election really is anyone's game with no clear indication of who may win this race.
And at this point, it's hard to say. It's hard to say like, oh, this person's going to win, because I think a lot of them have a chance, more so than maybe they ever had before. So I think it's actually going to be an exciting election day when we don't know what's going to be happening necessarily.
Woodrow says in past elections, only about 6,000 people voted. That's out of around 55,000 registered voters. That's almost 50,000 people who are registered to vote but didn't make it to the polls. We'll have voter turnout for this Super Tuesday tonight on 25 News Now at 10. Again, the polls do close at 7 p.m. Remember, Victoria County has open voting, so you can vote at any of the 26 polling sites. We have that list at CrossroadsToday.com. Here at the Dr. Patty Dotson Public Health Center, there's still a line, but not as much as it was earlier. So if you're feeling like the line might be too long, don't worry about it. Still come out here and cast your ballot. Reporting live at the Dr. Patty Dotson Public Health Center, I'm Adam Seibel, KAVU-TV 25 News Now. Don, Karina, back to you.
Adam, thank you. District 27 Congressman Michael Cloud is working to hold on to his seat in today's primary. He faces Chris Mapp, Luis Espandola, and Scott Mendel. The winner here will face whomever wins the Democratic primary tonight.
Here's more of the 2 Democrats running for District 27. Lockhart teacher Tanya Lloyd wants to address economic challenges Texans face, including the lack of rural health care. Anthony A.J. Tristan is running for U.S. Representative District 27. He's a native from Nueces County and attended Texas A&M University, Corpus Christi. He has experience in the hospitality industry.
In the sheriff's race, Victoria County Sheriff Justin Marr working to keep that seat. He faces Melissa Rendon-Wasachek. The winner tonight wins the race altogether. Now tonight, voters will elect a new county commissioner in Victoria County for Precinct 3. Gary Burns is not seeking re-election after 20 years in office. On this ballot, Marcus Salinas, Shannon Martin, James Soderholtz, and Brad Tucker. Since 1930, only 4 commissioners have served Victoria County Precinct 3. If a runoff is necessary in any of the races tonight, it would take place on Tuesday, May 28th. More than 1.8 million Texans cast ballots in this year's early voting period. That's about 200,000 fewer early votes than the amount cast in the 2020 primary elections. Follow the latest on all the races on the crossroads under the elections results page.
A human smuggling suspect in the Nueces County Jail was extradited to Wharton County Monday. Josiah Lopez of Corpus Christi had an arrest warrant, and the 23-year-old remains in the Wharton County Jail in lieu of $40,000 bond.
And now let's take a look at your forecast with Chief Meteorologist Mac Bettis. Mac, toasty out there, great for voting.
Yeah, it was good to get out and do the balloting thing, unless you went up early this morning with all the fog, but I'm sure you found your way. Amazing temperatures for today, folks. So once the fog burned off, we actually, we got up to 90 degrees. So amazing. Look at that, 90s all over western Texas, at least up in the Panhandle, they're in the 60s because they need the help. We'll be talking about the foggy, warm routine that's going to change on Friday. I'll have that coming up in just a moment. Back to you.
Mac, thank you. Pew Research shows Hispanic voters are hitting a record high of eligibility.
36.2 million Latinos in the United States are eligible to vote this year, including 6.5 million in Texas.
But tonight in North Carolina, both Democrats and Republicans are trying to boost and sway Hispanic voter participation.
Both parties are hoping to increase Hispanic voter participation. The Republican Party's strategy includes recruiting more diverse candidates. While here in North Carolina, the state Democratic Party has revived its Hispanic caucus.
What this Hispanic caucus will be is an attempt to reach out to that community in North Carolina that hasn't been reached out in past elections as much.
That starts with letting people in the state's Latino community know that their voices and votes matter and getting them registered so they can cast ballots.
We're just getting used to feeling like we understand the political process, let alone vote in numbers that are commensurate with the size of our population. The lens that's important here is not one of today and now, but of time and generations.
According to the census, there are more than 440,000 people in North Carolina who identify as Hispanic who are eligible to vote. But about 293,000 people who identify that way are actually registered, meaning about a third of the Hispanic people who can vote aren't even registered.
We have to start reclaiming our own agency and our own voice and our own advocacy.
About 1 out of every 10 people in the state identify as Hispanic, but when it comes to politics, that population is underrepresented. In fact, Gabe Esparza, who is running against State Representative Wesley Harris for state treasurer, would be the first Latino to hold a statewide position should he win Tuesday and again in November.
When I talk to our community, I say, we can be the difference. Not a difference, the difference.
Both Reyes, Martinez, and Esparza say it's important that whoever is on the ballot recognize that Hispanic voters aren't a one-issue group focused on immigration, but they're like every other segment of the population, concerned about a variety of topics from education to the economy.
A Panhandle fire chief whose small town was among the hardest hit last week by the wildfires died Tuesday while fighting a structure fire. Authorities said Fritz Fire Chief Zeb Smith was the first at the scene of the fire. After Smith entered the home to see if anyone was there, he did not leave the home. Other firefighters found him and began medical treatment, but he died at the hospital. It was unclear how the fire began. A woman whose home in the Panhandle was destroyed in the deadly Smokehouse Creek fire is suing a power company. In her suit against Xcel Energy, Melanie McQuitty claims a fallen utility pole near Stinnett snapped off its base, causing the fire. The Texas A&M Forest Service is investigating the fire and has not announced a cause.
Tragedy of what's been lost is nothing short of catastrophic. You see that what was once homes or other structures or property has been reduced to nothing more than ashes, something that can never be used again whatsoever.
Governor Greg Abbott talking today about the wildfire. 2 people died as well as thousands of cattle. More than 500 structures were destroyed as a result of the wildfires.
Issues at the polls in the Houston area. Harris County District Attorney Kim Ung, who is running for re-election, was not able to cast a ballot for the primary election this morning because a ballot was already cast in her name. Harris County Clerk Tanisha Hudspeth says Kim's partner, who is registered to vote at that same address, voted on Friday under Kim's name. Kim is concerned this could happen to someone else.
It appears that my partner was voted early and counted toward my vote. That's what the clerk's office is saying. What I'm concerned about is that I've waited over an hour now to vote. Most people would not wait. I don't know how many other people this has happened to.
The issue has since been resolved and Kim was able to vote. She is on the ballot for the Democratic primary election against challenger Sean Tier, who was once her teammate.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell so you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. Stay with us. Miami police cracking down on spring breakers. Coming up on 25 News now at 6. We have that list of new rules.
Also had diet soda, what was once a healthier alternative, may pose a serious health risk.
Hi, I'm Detective Kelly Gibbs with the Victoria Police Department. Victoria Crime Stoppers is seeking information about an accident involving damage to a vehicle. On November 28, 2023, at about 4:18 p.m., Victoria Police Department officers responded to the 6100 block of North Navarro in reference to a motor vehicle accident in a parking lot. The driver of a dark gray Nissan Rogue exited the vehicle and left the location prior to police arrival. The vehicle did not belong to the driver. The driver is described as a Hispanic male with short dark hair, a beard and mustache, thin build, approximately 5'10", wearing a gray hoodie, sweatshirt, and black sweatpants. If you have any information about this accident, please call Victoria Crime Stoppers at 361-572-4200. You can also submit a tip by using the P3 Tip app on your Android or Apple device, or by visiting our website at www.crimestoppersvictoria.com. All tips are anonymous, and if you give information that leads to an arrest or charges being filed, you could earn a cash reward. With Victoria Crime Stoppers, I'm Detective Kelly Gibbs.
More people are filing their taxes for free this year compared to a year ago. The IRS says use of its free file system is up 9.7% from last year. About 943,000 taxpayers have used the free option through late February. You need an adjusted gross income of $79,000 or less to be eligible for free file. The system lets taxpayers file for free using one of 8 IRS partners. You can find details at irs.gov.
Drinking diet soda and sugary drinks could boost your risk of a dangerous heart condition. A new study shows one medium-sized fast food diet soda a day can raise the risk of an irregular heartbeat by 20%. A similar size of added sugar beverages can raise the risk of the condition by 10%. Drinking 4 ounces of pure unsweetened juices appear to actually lower the risk of AFib by 8%.
Spring break's almost here.
Yeah.
But not everyone is excited about spring break this year.
Yeah, the city of Miami Beach announced stricter rules for college students and tourists this month.
Wynwood Walls is right there.
All right, everybody, follow me.
In Miami's Wynwood neighborhood,
There's a lot of venues, a lot of private restaurants.
guides lead tours along its world-famous murals.
It features many of the artists. It just adds to the beauty.
As college kids on spring break from Arizona dine and shop.
We're not really like the crazy spring breakers.
When it comes to this,
we're breaking up with you.
Have you heard about what Miami Beach is doing?
The curfews and stuff? Yes.
Curfews, bag checks, and restricted beach access.
Maybe we can talk when you're done with your spring break phase.
Do you think there'll be more people that come here and shop at businesses here because of what's happening in Miami Beach?
For sure. Yeah. Oh yeah, I would say so, yeah.
I think it offers like the culture that Miami almost is like perceived to have.
Just getting ready for a great spring break and looking forward to people coming to Miami and enjoying it.
Sven Voklin, who owns several restaurants and venues in Miami to include 1-800-LUCKY in Wynwood, says March is their busiest month.
We were curious, if you're a business in Miami, are you thinking, oh, maybe they'll come over here?
I hope so. We're open for business, and Wynwood loves the clients, and if Miami Beach doesn't want them, we'll be happy to take them.
We want people to party and have a good time, however, in a respectful manner.
Miami Police Captain Freddie Cruz says you can expect to see heavy uniformed patrols in Miami's entertainment districts, to include Wynwood.
We're just asking everyone, if they are going to come to the city of Miami or Dade County, have a good time, but please respect the rules, respect the laws, and just have fun.
The historic Battleship Texas started the process of undocking Tuesday morning. KTRK reports the battleship will be back in the water for the first time in 18 months. The refloating process marks the next step in the ship's $75 million restoration, which will take place over the next 18 to 24 months. The Battleship Texas, called the San Jacinto Battleground State Historic Site, home for over 70 years. The ship will reopen in a new home sometime next year.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. We started off with the fog, the sun came up, and then the temperatures really skyrocketed. I mean, we got up to 89 degrees today. Tomorrow, we're going to have the same drill with the fog. So we'll talk about that and take a look at your weekend coming up in a moment. Welcome back, everybody. It's 86 degrees right about now. Not exactly feeling like March. We managed to get up to 90 this afternoon. That's our new high for the day. It is not a record because 92 is the old record, but look at that. It's a good 15 degrees above the seasonal average. And you know, seasonal average, that means that's the average over 30 years. So this is a marked difference. And by the way, Corpus Christi set a new record. I believe it was a 94 down there as well. So yes, the sun burned through the fog and gave us the hot day. When you get really hot weather, sometimes we get a big vertical motion in the air column, and sometimes we pop some thunderstorms, which is what's happening, but it's all just north of Dallas, so it's pretty far away from us. As we mentioned, we got up to 90 today. Everybody in South Texas was in the 90s, except fortunately for Amarillo, they got a little break in the weather after all that fire situation they've been through. Tomorrow morning, we're going to do the same drill with the fog. If you're going to be up early, just, you have to deal with it. Looking at half-mile visibility to some even less than that. So do be cautious if you're getting out early, but it will burn off fairly quickly. And again, we'll be on the sunny, hot afternoon. So the atmosphere is so stable that the cloud deck or the moisture staying there. Yet once the temperature goes up, it just keeps going higher, as you saw what happened today. Now on Thursday, tomorrow being Wednesday, a Thursday, possibility of some severe weather breaking out in North Texas. Now we're a little bit far away from it, but you know, we should know this is the beginning of what could be an interesting spring thunderstorm season up there. So this will be the first one, but that's actually part of the frontal system that's going to move through our area and actually give us a real nice cool down coming up for the weekend. So here you see the high temperatures for tomorrow will be back into the 80s again. I don't know if we'll make it to 90. I don't really want to, but as you can see, all of the state continuing with the fairly warm weather. Now here's the little front that's actually triggering that storm weather up in North Texas. That one's not going to do anything for us. As it passes through, it's all up there. But when we get to Thursday especially, we'll start seeing all this stuff break out, and then Friday should be the peak of it. We might even have a chance for a couple of showers around here on Friday as that thing moves through. But then on Saturday, things are going to be looking fairly nice. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you, I'll show you in a minute. Tomorrow morning, soupy, foggy and low clouds at 6 a.m. By 9, should be burning off, getting up to 74, maybe 75 in the Port Lavaca area. Morning fog and low clouds again for the Cuero area, getting up to about 80, 81. Here in the city, I'm expecting an 83. So morning fog again and sun, morning fog again and sun. Chance of shower activity on Friday as the little front comes through. Don't forget that on Saturday night we spring forward, so we lose an hour. But look at this, 67, 66 on Saturday and Sunday. That should be fairly nice. That is your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Karina.
Thank you, Mac. And now here's sports reporter Zach Brown.
Some young fighters winning big. Hear that story coming up in sports. Some young fighters in Victoria took home some belts at the South Texas Showdown in Beeville, led by Coach Ron McNary, and the kids packed quite the punch. On Meori Lane, some tough young kids brought home some hardware to the Victoria Boxing Academy. Recently, Gabe Pedraza, who is just 8 years old, and Dustin Hernandez, who is just 10, was putting in a lot of work on the bag. Asked for why these guys love boxing, so they just want to compete regardless of what happens inside that ring.
You get to go out with the coach and you get to go compete, and you can win cool stuff like this and medals, and it's okay if you lose, you're still going to be a champion.
A very thoughtful answer from such a young kid, and it's a credit to the parents and to the coaching staff. Ron McNary is not only a great coach, but he's a great mentor to these guys outside of the ring.
Our mission is to have a productive kid inside the ring and outside of the ring. We're involved with the families, the moms and the dads. You know, if they come from a single parent household, I'm involved with them there, or we involved with them there. I have a good board of directors that they're involved with the kids as well to make sure that everybody is doing the right thing.
When he's not building the kids up at school or taking them horseback riding, which seem to be popular amongst the guys, he's of course teaching them how to compete. Gabe Pedraza, fresh off winning a belt just like his friend Dustin, takes us through what it takes to become a champion.
You hit the bag, you shadow block, so you have to come and work out. And coach teaches you with your boxing stance and everything, and you work out hard, you run, and really that's it.
On top of teaching young athletes healthy habits and winning titles, it helps many others in different ways.
It builds up my confidence and my anxiety. It makes me feel like I've accomplished something.
Congrats to these young fighters on bringing home some hardware, and good luck to them as they get ready to compete at the end of March, and we'll see if they can bring home more belts. All right, great stuff from those young guys. Now some NFL news in Denver. Russell Wilson's time has not lived up to expectations, to say the least. He was informed yesterday he will be cut when the new year begins on March 13th. In 2022, he signed a deal worth over $242 million for 5 years. That move will be a dead cap hit of $85 million, beating the previous record for a cap hit, which was $40 million. And for Texans fans, one position that can be put to rest, that's tight end. Houston will be bringing back Dalton Schultz. 3 years, $36 million, $23 million of that guaranteed. That's it for, that's it for sports. Donna Karina, back to you.
Thanks, Zach. We're back in a moment. Residents tackle a tumbleweed invasion, how one Utah community manages the aftermath. The awards for the Oscars today. To vote, come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to predict, or rather /predict to enter the giveaway. The top 3 winners will receive a $50 gift card to Dick's Food Store, and the Oscars pre-show is right here on KVUE TV Sunday at 5:30 p.m. and the Oscars start at 6 p.m.
You are not looking at video of one of the Oscars-nominated movies. No, while snow piled up in the western mountains over the weekend, something else was piling up in a Utah community. Tumbleweeds. I think it was called tumbleweeds. Yeah. In some cases, stacked to the roof lines of homes. Thousands of tumbleweeds blew onto residents' yards. Up and down streets, residents have piled up mountains of dry Russian thistle from the weekend storm. The city is pitching in to help neighbors with about 10 dumpsters in the hardest hit areas. I have never seen tumbleweed that big, that centrally located. Oh my gosh.
I've never seen a natural tumbleweed
I
roll
saw
like
one
in
in
the movies.
Oklahoma, yes. Yeah. It's odd to see. I didn't know they got that big.
Oh, I've seen it because I used to drive to the West Coast a lot, and it gets to the point where you're dodging them with your car.
Really?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, it's a combination of they get the rain, they start to grow, then they dry up, and then
what are they?
The wind blows.
Tumbleweeds.
It's a bush.
Yeah, but what is it?
It's a thistle bush or something like that. And they dry up, and then the wind just blows them away, and all of a sudden it attacks.
Okay.
Can you beat the heat here today? I'm telling you.
I don't know if you can. You can beat the heat by coming inside, but the hot weather is here, folks. It may be like this for quite some time. We had a not a record, but we got a high of 90 today. Tomorrow we should be in the 80s, and same thing for Thursday. But Friday, that little front will get us into the 60s for the weekend.
Thank you, Mac. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you tonight at 10.